The phrase you see behind me here, to live, Christ, to die, gain, is familiar to many Christian people. It's a great phrase. It's helpful for us in living well. But it becomes more than just a phrase when someone dies.
To live is Christ, to die is gain.
G'day everyone, Brian here. I want to continue through Philippians, but I want to take a moment to reflect more on this statement. And the reason I do this is because in the last couple of days, a dear old friend of mine died. Some of my friends would say he was promoted to glory. His name was Rusty Adams. He was an officer in the Salvation Army. I was an officer in the Salvation Army, but I knew Rusty long before then. Rusty was a youth leader, and there are a couple of things that stand out in mind. One was a youth conference where hundreds of us were gathered together, and Rusty, with his banjo, was leading a song. And one of the verses that I remember, and I think I've got it right, went like this: "The devil and me, we can't agree. Glory, hallelujah. I hate him and he hates me. Glory, hallelujah." When I became an officer, I remember Rusty speaking to a group of us about pastoral ministry, pastoral leadership. And one of the things that he pointed out to us was that until we get to know our people well, we are just a chaplain. It's when we get to know them well, we become their pastor. Rusty was an interesting bloke. Rusty was a funny bloke. By that I mean a few things. He had a funny face. He talked funny. He walked a bit funny too, I suppose. But he was a true disciple of Jesus Christ. On Sunday in our church gathering, I was talking about the death of Samuel, the prophet in the Old Testament. And I said this about him and the expectation I have to see Samuel in the future. It's not because he's a good bloke, but because he's God's bloke. He was given to God, chosen by God, called by God, and committed to God, and all to God's glory. Rusty's story doesn't begin in quite the same way that Samuel's story does, but it ends the same. A life given and committed to the glory of God. Rusty was one of God's good blokes. I'm glad I got to meet him. I'm glad he had an influence in my life. I hope I can have an influence in others. And I hope you can have someone like Rusty in your life too. Thank you, my friend, for your life lived for Jesus. I'll see you on the other side. And to everyone else, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.